Hello everybody. Today I'd like to talk to you about something that I call managing dual attachments. What does that actually mean? What does it look like? Why does it happen? And what can we do about it? Yesterday I was speaking with a wonderful adopted mother who has a son who is 14, and he came home to her when he was 17 months old. Prior to coming home to her, he had had 3 other sets of parents. His birth parents, from whom he was removed at 4 months old. Then there was temporary foster parents. He wasn't there for very long at all, matter of weeks. And then placed with the longer term foster parents until he was adopted. During that time, the local authority had attempted reunification with birth family. So there were lots of toing and froing for this child, backwards and forwards, to see whether or not the birth parents could actually do the job of parenting him. How many ruptured attachments has that child actually had? How many experiences of loss and grief? We can only truly attach to somebody when we feel safe enough to do so, and at least to some degree, we believe that they're going to stick around. So the behaviours that this parent has seen through the years, and lots of parents tell me the same thing, are things such as he can't hold more than one friendship at school. There are big arguments between who he's friends with, and he has to hate one friend to attach to another. He has to completely sever the relationship with Billy to be able to be friends with Tom. He has to hate Billy to be friends with Tom. And even when he was younger than that, he would have to hate Mummy when Daddy came home from work to be able to spend time with Daddy, and then to completely reject Daddy in the morning to attach to Mummy. These are the sorts of behaviours we see. Another example is of a foster child that I'm currently supporting. And this little girl really struggles with spending time on a short break. So she'll go away for a sleepover with another set of foster parents. And when she comes home, even though she's had a wonderful time, they've spent far more money on her than what they ever earned, she will say it was terrible. She hated every minute of it. It was awful. They're not nice. She doesn't like going. And yet when we spoke to the other foster parents who provide the short breaks, they said that's absolutely untrue. She has a fantastic time with us. We do loads of stuff. We go all over the place. We spend loads of money on her. It's great time. We don't understand why she's doing this. We don't want to be set up for an allegation here. And I've had to say to everybody, calm down. This is not about you. This is about what she's been through. I completely understand your fears, but actually they're unfounded in my opinion. What's really going on here is that she is terrified that her main foster family, her mum, her foster mum, who she loves and has been with for quite some time now, will believe that she doesn't need her anymore, that the child doesn't need the foster parent anymore if she says she's had a good time on her short break. She has to pretend it's absolutely terrible just in case the foster parent thinks, well, you can go and live there then. Just in case the foster parent thinks, well, here's a new parent for you. Or, well, if they meet your needs, what do you need me for? Remember, these children have a negative internal working model, a negative view of self. They believe that love and acceptance and belonging is conditional. They don't believe that it's unconditional love, that no matter what happens, these parents will always be there for me. That has not been their story. How many parents have they already left before they came to you? So I have to pretend that I've had a terrible time when I went for my sleepover, because otherwise you might think I don't need you. And worse still, I can go and live there. Another example of that is with a child who goes out with a child support worker, has a wonderful time, really engages well, lots of really valuable interactions, and then the child support worker takes the child home, and the child would not say goodbye. They don't want to have the ending. They don't want to even admit that they've had a good time. And the foster parents are, well, is this helping? I'm not sure it's useful at all. And even between foster parents, I will be really attached to this parent. Again, when the other one is around, I have to reject you completely, sometimes even violently, to be able to attach to this person. And another story of a lovely adoptive parent that I spoke to last year, whose son, now aged 19, who she fostered and then adopted, found himself a girlfriend a very long way away from where she lives, at least 3 hours worth of travelling to get there. And, they had a very close relationship, him and his mum. But once he got this girlfriend, every weekend when he would go and visit her, he wouldn't speak to his mum, didn't want to say goodbye to her, wouldn't answer her text messages, wouldn't answer any phone calls. As far as he was concerned, mum didn't exist. And mum was bereft. She was heartbroken. She couldn't understand this level of rejection. And when I explained this issue around managing dual attachment, she said, my gosh, this makes so much sense, Sarah. What do I do about it? Tell him. Give him permission to love more than one person at a time. Give him permission to have a relationship with you and his girlfriend. Let him know he doesn't have to sever his relationship with you to have a relationship with his girlfriend. Actually, he can have both. She did that. Just that. And do you know his response was, really, Mum? I didn't know that. I thought I had to leave you behind, let go of you to go and be with my girlfriend. These kids don't know this stuff. This is why I always talk about the greatest gift we can give another human being is the gift of understanding themselves. We have to give them this story. We have to tell them this is what's happening. The amount of meetings I go to where we figure out what's going on with the child, we work it all out, and we're all really, intelligent, supporting professionals. And I don't know how intelligent we really are at times, because nobody tells a child, and it's their story. Well, we don't want to overwhelm them. Hold on a minute, they know it anyway. All we're doing is making the implicit explicit. We tell them, you're struggling with this because of that. You are really finding it difficult to have more than one friend because you really struggle to manage more than one relationship. And that's because when you were very little, every relationship you had ended, and often ended abruptly. And so you're fearful of investing, but also you don't believe in the longevity of a relationship. And you certainly don't believe in the elastic band of attachment, that I can hold this one as well as that one. This was one of the reasons why I wrote the book, Inside Big Me Lives a Little Me, because the more this child here understands what didn't happen for this child, what went wrong here, the more able they are to manage what's going on today. The way we understand today is through the lens of yesterday. Another example is of a young person who's left home, a child with developmental trauma. They've aged out of care. I hate that terminology. That they've left home, they've left their adoptive family, whatever. They've grown up, and they've grown up physically. But developmentally, they're still stuck at probably half their age, and sometimes even younger. And they're out in the big wide world, and they can't manage and they can't cope. And so they want us to solve everything for them. They want us to give them endless amount of money and do endless amount of jobs for them, and get them out of all the pickles they find themselves in, and pay all their debts off, and sort out the landlord and all that stuff. And because we love them and we're so frightened, we walk in front of them trying to avoid every pitfall that there might be there for them. And actually, we are enabling them, if you like, to stay stuck in many ways. And then they get angry because we're not doing what they want. So then they reject us. They don't want to speak to us, won't answer our messages. And then we find out that they've hooked onto another family. They've gone and looked for the sympathetic face. They've got somebody feeling sorry for them, someone who wants to take care. You poor child, you've been adopted. You poor child, you've ended up in foster care. We will save your life. and they sow all this help and they sort them out, give them money, find them somewhere to live. And then the mask falls off and they think, oh my gosh, what has happened here? This child cannot tell the truth. This child is inauthentic, disingenuous. This child is performative. We're not seeing the authentic self because the child doesn't even know their own authentic self yet. We have parented on top of the trauma. And so eventually these people realise what's going on and back off quickly. And then that child, that young person, goes back to their parents. Help, I'm stuck again. And then we're back in the same cycle. It happens over and over and over and over again until eventually we have to say, out of love, we've got to let you fall down before we can truly pick you up. That doesn't mean we let them go without food. It doesn't mean we see them homeless. But it does mean that we stop rescuing and we start helping them to understand themselves. We hold up a mirror. We say, you're doing this because of that. They don't like it. Of course they don't like it. They want to reject their little me. They hate little me. They're egocentric. They blame little me for every problem they've ever had. It's hard work, but it's still what's needed. They need to know you are struggling with holding more than one relationship because of what happened to you when you were little, and more so, what didn't happen for you. There is hope. I was one of these kids. I can hold more than one relationship now, although I still struggle to trust in the validity and the longevity of a relationship. Sadly, people still have to prove to me that they're going to stick around. But let's help our children to understand themselves by giving them the gift of why. Thank you for listening.